Set by the previous guys, and they don't want to let them down.
Right up front.
Lynn Worthy, Salt Lake Tribune. Dana, I wonder how much you feel like these last couple of weeks have benefited you having this time with especially with the new quarterback stepping in. I mean, do you feel like that has changed what you guys have been able to sort of implement and get ready for? Obviously, with your starter.
Yeah, we put in 3 or 4 new offenses. We've had all of about 8 practices, so you can get a whole lot accomplished in 8 practices. But in all honesty, it's been good for Chugs. Chugs has been at West Virginia for 3 years, so it's not like he doesn't know the offense. I think the biggest thing is just understanding that he's the starting quarterback, and then when you have these practices, you get to develop some timing with the guys that he's going to actually be throwing to. You can't really flip that switch right at the beginning of the second quarter against Texas. It takes a little bit of time to be able to just develop that timing and understand that you're the guy and develop a game plan that suits him. So he's in a much better place now than he was a couple weeks ago.
Mitch Mingle from the Charleston Gazette-Mail. First of all, Merry Christmas to you guys. And wondering how you're handling Christmas with your team, first off, and then second, are there any players that won't be participating that perhaps we don't know about?
Well, I didn't even realize it was Christmas. I thought it was Christmas Eve, Mitch. But in my mind, it's Thursday. We play on Saturday, so I don't really know what today is other than Thursday. We got a few days here before the game, still got some work to do, but we'll have a big dinner tomorrow. About all we'll do.
Yeah, we're have a team dinner, tonight, New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, and then tomorrow as well with the team, and just make it as enjoyable as possible. And we're used to being on the road at Christmas. I think probably half the Christmases I've been at Utah have been on the road, so it's nothing new.
Right up front.
First and foremost, happy holidays to both of you coaches. Marvin Chambers, 4.0 Sports Media. Coach Kyle, West Virginia's, the hurry-up offense, they average 36 points a game. What is some of the major adjustments, not giving out your game plan, you had to, kind of implement in your game plan this week?
Yeah, well, first of all, nice brim. That is outstanding. Okay. Secondly, Coach Holgerson's one of the best offensive minds in the country. There's no doubt about that. Prolific offenses year in, year out. They got a whole stable of receivers that are, we got to do our best to try to cover them, and they got 3 or 4 go-to guys, and that really is a big problem, particularly for our secondary, obviously. But hopefully we can try to get a little pressure on the quarterback, and obviously with the quarterback change, there may be a little different approach, but regardless, they've got a lot of skill and very difficult to defend.
Right up front.
Kevin Kimbler from the Blue and Gold News. Coach, with the announcements of the players that you have coming back plus signing day, did that take any of the focus off this game? Have you been concerned that there's maybe more attention paid on next year than on finishing this season?
Well, maybe with y'all. We're still out there practicing, preparing to go play a football game here in a couple of days. So, I think we're all kind of feeling out the early signing period. I think it was beneficial. It helps programs that have stability. When you're looking at West Virginia, we got stability. When you're looking at Utah, there's tremendous stability. Coach has been there for 13 years now, and 15 years, maybe your whole life. Been there for a long time. But programs with stability, I think it helps. The ones that are complaining about it are the ones that just got the job. So, I think that's positive, but it hasn't took the focus off of the task at hand, which is playing a football game here in a couple of days. So if you ask these players, I think on both sides, I think that's all they've been focused on. I don't know if they really had too much to do with who's coming back or who's leaving or who's signing or any of that stuff. They're focused on playing the game.
Lynn Worthy, Salt Lake Tribune. Kyle, you mentioned the receivers for West Virginia. I wonder what stands out about them as you see them on tape, and is there a receiving core in the Pac-12 you sort of liken them to?
Well, what stands out is they catch the ball. They catch every ball thrown to them. I mean, it's impressive to watch. Their route structures are very good, obviously, and precise, but just the way they catch the ball. I mean, they have very few drops. What was the second part of the question? Core in the Pac-12. Not off the top of my head. I don't know if we've had a team in the Pac-12 we faced with as many weapons on the outside, and as many guys that are featured. So, probably not.
Chris Fanini with The Athletic. Kyle, how is Tyler doing with the injury, and what have you seen from him, his growth this year and his future?
Yeah, he's 100%, and it's his future. First of all, we got to get him a little bigger. He understands that. He's not a very big guy and got banged up pretty good this year, but we think he's a tremendous player, a very dynamic player. He was second in the Pac-12 in total offense this year as a true sophomore, and I just think his future is very bright. He's got 2 more years, but he's got to put some meat on that body, because the Pac-12 is a physical conference, as is all of Power 5 football, and in order to withstand that pounding, his biggest challenge this offseason is to get bigger.
Larry.
Dana, Larry Bump, Deseret News. You've had multiple running backs over the last several years, and does that kind of approach make it easier to withstand not having Justin Crawford for this game?
Yeah, you can't go through a season with just one running back. You got to have 3 or 4 of those guys. It's a brutal position. You ask those guys to do so much. I mean, it's physical. You're asking them to, get involved in protections and run the ball. They're taking a lot of hits, taking a lot of shots. So if you look back at our season, Justin was quick to get 100 yards and then would replace him with the other 2 guys. So, you got the 12th game, he decided to move on. That's fine. Wish him nothing but the best. But, just like any other good program, you got a couple other guys that you can put in there that can carry the load. So, feel like we're in good shape there at that position.
Any other questions?
Plus, we moved Al to running back, so we'll hand him the ball a few times if we need to.
Okay, we'll now open it up for the players.
Thanks, guys.
It's Brooke on this side, right?